Hello guys, this is the Decoder, and before I begin today's review, well, first off, it's the season finale. It's been a great season, and I'm looking forward to Season 2, but I am going to be taking a pretty long break. It's going to be a while until I start doing reviews again. I'm not sure when. Just check back on my channel every now and then. I'll be sure to post something under my comments about when I'm starting reviews up again. Also, check out Site 15. I'm releasing bloopers, my Season 2 lineup for games I'm going to be reviewing and stuff like that, so I'm adding a lot more onto the page. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin today's review. Today's review is Spore Hero for the Wii. Spore was a popular internet game in which you create your own monsters and then you battle them online against other opponents. Spore Hero was an attempt to bring the series onto a console and have it have its own story mode in that. There was also another Spore Hero game released in the same year, 2009, Spore Hero Arena for the DS, in which it was just battling instead of... It's basically Spore Hero, like the one I'm reviewing, without the adventure mode. The adventure mode is the main feature in the game, but putting that aside, you can create your own monsters, and you don't start out with all parts. You'll have to unlock the parts in adventure mode in that. But the thing is, when you're creating your own monster in adventure mode, you have the crystals, and each part would take up so many crystals, and if you don't have enough, you can't get the part. Where when you're in the regular customization, sure, you can't play that story around the environment, but you can put any part onto it anywhere without having to worry about the crystals, and basically they're used for the battle mode in the game. The battle mode is one-on-one. It does not have Wi-Fi connection, so you can verse other people, but you have to face higher-leveled monsters. It's also two-player, so if you got a friend, you can play. And there are many environments based on the story mode, and you don't start out with all of them. As you progress through story mode, more and more open up in that. And they're the actual arenas that you fight in story mode too, so it's not just random. And other than that, the only other thing would be adjusting your settings, which, all of that, brightness and sound and that, you can do all of that, so that's not that much of a big deal. I don't even really consider it a mode. I was just throwing it in there, because pretty much every game has it. I don't even know why I mentioned it. Anyway, let's get into the story mode, which really is why it's its own game. The story mode, basically, you're a new spore creature that's bring into an environment with a bunch of blue kangaroos or something, I don't know. And they basically try to raise you, and basically evil spore people are coming down to the planet, and they're possessing the good spore creatures and making them, take over colonies and that. For the areas, there's about 6, and there seems to be one primary, creature that lives in that area, but there are a couple, different creatures who also live in the area. And, the thing is, too, that you've got to fight so many creatures, and then they'll allow you in the nest, and in the nest you'll be able to customize your character, and I think it's also a checkpoint, too. And your main goal is to get rid of all the red crystals, which are the ones that possess people, and collect blue crystals so you can upgrade your guy. The cool part about the upgraded system in that, though, is that if you have gills, you can start swimming, and if you have wings, you can begin to glide, and you can reach areas you couldn't reach before, meaning, maybe you beat an area, but then you have to maybe go back a little bit later with new, powers in that, and see what else you can explore in the area, which is pretty cool. Kicking people is you could talk to people, but kicking people is another interaction in which they'll maybe give you parts or they'll fight you. And if you fight them, you gain parts. So it's basically a thing to gain new parts for your creature in that. I know, it was mainly split up between cute and creepy for your Spore character, and this game has both to keep the fans into it. Another thing about, the parts you get, too, is that you unlock new, hits and kicks for your guy in the story mode, when you're fighting in that, new, attacks in that. And in the story mode also, you have your main goals, but yet you have side missions, beat this guy 10 times, and then of course you gain extra parts in that. And I'll admit, the story mode's pretty good. That's all I can really say about it. Oh, just one more thing, there are 6 areas. and two of the areas repeat themselves, sort of. Like, I think the one's Mushroom it's like Mushroom Valley, and the other one's like Mushroom Mountain or something. Like, it's a little bit of a spin off the other one, and they're very like close, but they're different. And obviously the second one that you go to is more vast, more enemies, and it's a lot harder. One thing, though, is that unless you're a healer, which you can only heal during battle, you're going to have to go around and get fruits which you can store or you can just eat right there. And some of the creatures around the environment are defensive over the fruit trees, and of course after you eat like all the fruit on the tree, they'll eventually regrow, but it takes a while. And there are also littler creatures, which all you have to do is kick a couple times, and they're gone. That will be in the environment as well, just to keep you on your guard. That's all I can really say about the game. The adventure mode, really made it its own game, and it definitely did a great job at bringing Spore Hero to consoles. The only thing, though, is, too, the Wii motion. It gets annoying after a while, and you wish you can just pick up, a 360 controller and play. It's a shame it didn't get released for the PS3 or the Xbox. It would have been a great game, and they just did a great job bringing Spore into the console. And, I would have to give this game a, 7 out of 10. If it weren't for the motion controls getting annoying in the story mode, being, a little confusing at what you have to do in that, it would have gotten, a 10 out of 10 if it weren't for those few things. Anyway, this has been The Decoder. Remember to check my channel every now and then, see when Season 2 is starting. And I'll see you guys later.